Uncover the sinister secrets behind these magical beings, exploring how ancient societies used tales of malevolent fairies to explain the unexplainable. Discover how these eerie legends have evolved over centuries and continue to enchant modern audiences with their mysterious allure. Are you ready to uncover the darker side of fairy lore and its lasting impact on our culture? Watch this video until the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe to receive more content like this. Let's get started. Fairies, those enigmatic and ethereal beings, have been part of human folklore for millennia. In ancient myths, fairies were often seen as both benevolent and malevolent spirits, capable of bestowing blessings or wreaking havoc. In Celtic folklore, the Eos Sai were considered nature spirits who could be both helpful and dangerous. Stories from this era often depicted fairies as tricksters who delighted in leading travelers astray or causing mischief in villages. These early tales served as explanations for mysterious occurrences, such as lost livestock or sudden illnesses, attributing them to the whims of malevolent fairies. Ancient societies developed rituals and charms to appease these spirits, reflecting a deep-seated belief in their power to influence the natural world. As the legend spread, each culture added its unique twist to the fairy mythos. In Norse mythology, the Alfar were divided into light and dark elves, with the dark ones often causing trouble for humans. Similarly, in Greek mythology, nymphs and satyrs could be both protectors of nature and harbingers of misfortune. These tales often highlighted the unpredictable nature of fairies, emphasizing their capacity for both good and evil. The belief in malevolent fairies was not just confined to Europe. In Japan, yokai like the Teng were known for their trickery and malevolence, further illustrating the global reach of these myths. The stories served as a means of explaining the inexplicable, providing a sense of order and understanding in a world full of uncertainties. During the medieval period, fairies took on new dimensions within the context of evolving cultural and societal norms. The stories told about fairies began to reflect the values and fears of the time, blending pagan traditions with emerging Christian influences. This era saw a shift in how fairies were perceived, often portrayed as beings of both light and dark, capable of both enchantment and malevolence. One significant change was the use of fairy tales as moral parables, where the actions of fairies served to teach important lessons about virtue, vice, and the human condition. Medieval fairy tales were rich with symbolism, and their dark themes often highlighted the consequences of straying from societal norms. The tale of Sir Orfeo, for example, draws from both Celtic and classical traditions, weaving a story of loss and redemption that features a powerful fairy king. In this story, the fairy realm is depicted as both a place of beauty and danger, reflecting the dual nature of fairies. Fairies were often seen as guardians of the natural world, but their protection came with a price. Those who disrespected nature or engaged in immoral behavior were thought to be at risk of fairy retribution. The Renaissance period brought a resurgence of interest in classical myths and legends, and fairies became a popular subject in both literature and art. This period saw the creation of some of the most enduring fairy tales, which were often darker and more complex than their medieval predecessors. William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream is a prime example of this trend. In the play, characters like Oberon and Puck embody the mischievous and capricious nature of fairies. Puck, in particular, is a trickster figure who delights in causing chaos and confusion, highlighting the unpredictable and often malevolent nature of these beings. Fairies in Renaissance literature were often depicted as symbols of the human psyche, representing the internal struggles and moral ambiguities faced by individuals. Edmund Spenser's epic poem, The Fairy Queen, uses fairies to explore themes of virtue and vice, with characters embodying different moral qualities. The fairy realm in Spenser's work is a place where knights and heroes must confront their deepest fears and desires, often encountering malevolent fairies who test their resolve. This use of fairies to explore complex human emotions and ethical dilemmas became a hallmark of Renaissance storytelling. The visual arts of the Renaissance also played a significant role in shaping the image of fairies. Artists like Hieronymus Bosch and Peter Bruegel the Elder created fantastical scenes filled with otherworldly creatures, including fairies, that reflected the era's fascination with the supernatural. These artworks often depicted fairies as both beautiful and grotesque, capturing their dual nature. The interplay between light and dark, good and evil, in these depictions mirrored the themes found in contemporary literature. This period saw the creation of intricate and detailed representations of fairy lore that continue to influence our perception of these mythical beings. Renaissance drama and literature further solidified the image of fairies as powerful, enigmatic, and often malevolent beings. Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus features references to fairies and other supernatural entities, using them to underscore the themes of temptation and damnation. The belief in fairies during this period was not merely a matter of folklore, but was deeply intertwined with the cultural and religious shifts of the time. The fear and fascination with fairies were reflective of broader societal anxieties about morality, the unknown, and the boundaries between the natural and supernatural worlds. The impact of dark fairy tales extends far beyond their origins in folklore, deeply influencing children's literature, media, and psychological development. These stories, often steeped in themes of danger, fear, and morality, serve as powerful tools for teaching valuable life lessons. They act as cautionary tales, warning against the consequences of poor decisions and unethical behavior. In this way, dark fairy tales have a unique ability to convey complex moral messages in an engaging and memorable manner. Children's literature has long used fairy tales to introduce young readers to the concepts of good and evil, right and wrong. Classic stories like Hansel and Gretel and Little Red Riding Hood are prime examples of how dark fairy tales can impart important lessons. These stories often feature children who encounter malevolent beings or dangerous situations, only to overcome them through bravery, intelligence, and moral fortitude. The villains in these tales, whether they be witches, wolves, or wicked fairies, serve as representations of real-world dangers and the importance of making wise choices. By confronting these fictional threats, children learn to navigate their own fears and anxieties in a safe and controlled environment. The psychological effects of dark fairy tales are profound, offering a framework for understanding and processing complex emotions. These stories provide a means for children and adults alike to explore themes of fear, loss, and resilience. The process of identifying with the protagonists and experiencing their triumphs and tribulations helps readers to develop empathy and emotional intelligence. Dark fairy tales often include elements of suspense and tension, which can be cathartic and allow for the release of pent-up emotions. By facing the frightening elements within these tales, readers can gain a sense of empowerment and control over their own fears. In addition to their psychological benefits, dark fairy tales also play a crucial role in education, encouraging critical thinking and creativity. These stories challenge readers to consider multiple perspectives and to question their own assumptions about morality and justice. For instance, tales like The Snow Queen or The Changeling explore themes of identity, transformation, and the struggle between good and evil. Such narratives compel readers to think deeply about the nature of humanity and the choices that define us. The rich symbolism and allegory found in dark fairy tales provide fertile ground for discussion and analysis, fostering a deeper understanding of literature and its relevance to real life. If today's journey through ancient legends and timeless tales has captivated your imagination, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. Your engagement helps us keep these incredible stories alive and share them with a wider audience. By subscribing, you become a vital part of our community, dedicated to preserving and celebrating the power of mythology. Thank you for spending this time with us. Until our next mythical adventure, keep the legends alive in your heart.